Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
And T-Wolves.
Cause I saw
T-Wolves.
I'm Crawford Exotic, otherwise known as the Tiger Queen, and I'm coming to you from Big Actor Rescue Entertainment.
And hi, you cool cats and kittens. My name is Russell Baskin, and I am the owner and director of Big Debate Rescue. I would like to remind you that Big Actor Rescue Entertainment has no affiliation with Big Debate Rescue, and my cease and desist letter should be in the mail.
Well, we are here today to present some information to you about dynamics of public speaking.
So the first thing when it comes to dynamics is actually going to be the 7-55-38 rule. And all this means is that 7% of what you say actually has to do with the message that you're saying, the words that are coming out of your mouth. But what we're going to focus on actually is the rest of those percentages. So first up, you have 55. And 55 actually means that a majority of what you say, or 55% of the message that you're saying, has to do with body language. Right? How you're holding yourself, what gestures you're using, all of that, right? And then 38% has to do with your voice, right? So what kind of pitch you're using, how fast or slow you're talking, what inflection you're using, all of that. So first let's talk about body when it comes to presenting. Right? That's going to be a majority, a whole 55% of how you present is how you hold your body, right? So first thing is going to be actually eye contact, making sure that while you're talking to your message, whether that's in person or online, you're making eye contact with the people that you're communicating with. Exactly. The next thing that you're going to want to maintain is actually platform movement. So let me try to demonstrate here. Okay, so if you're doing platform movement, right, you're going to start towards kind of like the center, but maybe slightly back from your performing space. Then from there, you're going to want to move in a similar order that your audience reads, right, which is typically from left to right. So for you, you're going to start, say this cool cat over here is going to be our audience, right, or our speaker, actually. Okay, they're standing right here. Okay, then they're going to want to move up over here. Then they're going to move for that. That'd be kind of for your first point. Then they move towards the center right here. Then they move and they continue to move towards their right over here. And then for their final point, they're going to move back to the center, but be more forward right there. Okay, other things you want to focus on are gestures. Right? We like to emphasize and talk with our hands, right? And that's actually important, but there's a way that we do it, okay? And making sure that we have good posture, right? Shoulders back, neck forward, chest up, all that good stuff.
Okay, now I go to work every day prepared to die in a tiger cage. Performing doesn't scare me at all. But you have to be careful with your gestures around these big cats, let me tell you. You could ask one of my former employees about that, but don't go there. Now, about the gestures. Now, TED Talks, they did a study and they noticed that the speakers that did at least 25 gestures per minute had a better overall audience satisfaction rating. 25 per minute, that's a lot, y'all. But you need to be thinking about this when you are doing your public speaking. And the studies also show that your audience will remember twice as much of your content if you are using gestures while you are speaking, okay? Now, there's a place that you need to do the gestures, and there are places where you do not, okay? You need to use what I like to call the gesture box, and I know you can't see the whole thing, but basically it's approximately the top of your shoulders down to about your lower rib cage or belly button area, and then kind of out here a little bit to the side. Now you don't want to go too far out of this gesture box, okay? Now I will say that occasionally you might want to do a specialized gesture. You're going to want to do a balance, okay, of imitated gestures, those that means gestures that everybody does that you've picked up somewhere, and specialized or invented gestures. Occasionally, on occasion, you might want to do an invented gesture that goes outside of that gesture box, but you want to keep that very rare. That's going to be for a very specialized type of gesture, okay? Most of the time, you got to keep it above the waist. That's very important. And I need you to keep it in this gesture box, okay? Now, there are a couple of kinds of gestures that you need to be paying attention to. There's action gestures and structure gestures. I just did structure, okay? So if I'm just kind of showing the structure of something with my hands, well, I'm going outside where you can't see it. If I'm just showing the structure of something with my hands, then that's just going to be your plain old structure gesture. But then sometimes I can show how something works with an action gesture, and you're going to want to use both of those, okay? And then again, like I said, you're going to want to look for imitated gestures and invented gestures, and you're going to want to make sure you include both types in your speeches. And you do want to block those in, just like an actor would blocking in a script. You're going to want to block in these gestures. Yes, you want them to be natural, and you don't want them to look too planned, but you do want to plan them and then practice them until they look natural, okay? Now, there are a couple of kinds of gestures that you want to either stay away from, avoid, or include. So one that I'm going to recommend studies show that you include is going to be an open palm gesture. Palms up, open-handed like this to your audience. All of the studies show that the audience really likes this kind of gesture. It makes them feel invited into your world. And even better, if you kind of reach out with it and then bring it in, it makes the audience feel like they are part of your world. So there's really a science to it, you guys. You want to study this, and you want to get this done in your public speaking. Now, one thing you don't want to do, don't point at your audience. I know you've seen people do it. I know you've seen people point at their audience, but you really want to avoid that because it makes people feel singled out. And even if it's for something positive, oftentimes that audience member does not like it. And by proxy, the rest of the audience doesn't like it either. Another thing you want to be careful about is T-Rex arms. Now, Russell Baskin may need to brush up on this and be careful about these T-Rex arms where you keep your elbows to the side and then you're just moving the forearm and the hands, and that looks like a T-Rex. So you want to make sure that even though you're staying in the gesture box, don't keep those arms pinned to your side. That just looks silly.
Please hear Big Debate Rescue. We don't keep our cats in a gesture box, but
Baskin. Well, we'll just move on, won't we? Okay. Now, you also want to make sure that if you do put your hands together, you can do fingertips together very briefly. But other than that, I would not put hands together because I know you can't see everything, but you're going to look like choir boy, prayer time. You can imagine, if I just hold them straight down in front of me in their clasp, we call that fig leaf or Adam. So we just don't want to put those hands together. If we do, it's just very briefly as part of a multi-part gesture. And we want to make sure that we have balance, that we have some single-handed gestures, we have some double-handed gestures, and that we make sure that some gestures go to the left, some go to the right, some go to the center, and that it's just fluid. We want it to be fluid, but yet there's a beginning and an ending point to every gesture. Be very aware of this. You don't want spaghetti happening like this. This is not good. This is not what we want, okay? Those tigers will jump right on this. You don't want that. And so along those lines, no fidgeting, no swaying or shifting, no clasped hands, no hands in pockets, no touching hair. We're not supposed to be doing this right now anyway. Touching your face or fidgeting, tugging on your clothes, anything of that nature.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Anti-wolves.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Anti-wolves.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol
Russell.
with Big Cat Rescue. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Anti-wolves.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Anti-wolves.
It's Carol
Russell.
with Big Cat Rescue.
Tell all the
Opponents.
lay down their
Gloves.
Tell them that the
T-Wolf.
needs a little bit of love. Let them run the
Tournament.
Let them roam their land. Then stand back and marvel. What a beautiful
Plan.
'Cause I saw
T-Wolves.
Now I understand. Well, I saw
T-Wolves. T-Wolf, a clan.
Well, it's over. We're done. You can turn it off now.